Oster and Tessa did not get to finish the formation lap. Cart gets it parked up. Pooh gets it parked up. Walker gets it parked up. Nielsen does as well. And now we see everyone who does not know how to press the brakes get disqualified from the formation lap. So now, we will see the lights go off for the POR Round 91 Belgian Grand Prix. And as they would, they go off and Cot 5 will choose that he wants to take the racing lines turn 1 as he gets the best start out of anyone in the top. But Lewis Walker gets spun around at turn 1 by Dominic Nielsen. Is there any more chaos behind, or will everyone make it through cleanly? Everyone seems to make it through cleanly besides Lewis Walker, who gets spun around turn 1 by Dominic Nielsen, I believe. So now Oru's ready onto the Camel Straight. Which moves will we see? Who's running where? Who's running into? Who's running a dry setup? Apex definitely running a dry setup here. He's also draining a lot of ERS though, but he's going for the first overtake on Smithy, and now he's going for a second overtake on Tessa. Does not have the downforce. Actually, yes, he does have the downforce. But now we see PR Oliver either having contact or spinning around naturally. CFX23 versus Bath Destroyer. Bath Destroyer making a move down the inside. Current tier 2 leader and tier 2 dominator really should have been moved up sooner. So now we see Lons getting a bit loose on power. Lewis Inns making the move back on ARET Timmy, current Williams reserve. Big Pooh is currently in P2. Your top 2 is the same. Cot still leading from Big Pooh, but followed by Dominic Nielsen this time. Who had an incident at turn 1. Will now go a bit wide and gets overtaken by Mercedes drivers, and then gets spun round by ARET Timmy, who gets into an incident. This is not what you would want to be seeing if you're Steen or Stige, but it's what you want to see if you're Toby, as now you've moved up into a P4 position. Lewis Walker, despite spinning or getting spun at turn 1, is currently behind Lons, who seems to have no grip. No one seems to have any grip really, and I believe we might see the time penalty start flying in here. So you see Lewis Walker go for a move down the inside of turn 18, right into turn 19, and Bath Destroyer hits into the back of Lons. We see many crashes. So now Toby has fallen down to P10, Bath Destroyer up to P9, Smithy up to P8, and Oster into P7. But Bath Destroyer, he cannot get the brakes right, and now he's forced Oster off track. That is going to be a definite pen later from the stewards. But now we see McLaren driver Apex into P6. They are not choosing to go side by side through a rouge. No one thinks they have the confidence nor the grip. Bath Destroyer getting very loose, inviting Smithy in for an overtake. Will we see Bath Destroyer do a classic dive bomb as we just saw? But we will see Lewis Walker not go for a dive bomb, but go for an overtake on Tessa. And their slight contact invites Apex now up into P5. McLaren driver making many gains. Currently the lead McLaren driver, as, or at least I think the lead McLaren driver. I'm not sure if there is another. Actually, yes, there is another McLaren driver. The other McLaren driver is CFX23, but Apex falls back down into P6. Smithy up into P7 now, as we predicted would happen. After trying P8, Toby, after having such a mighty start, falls down into P9. Oster into P10 for being forced off track by Bath Destroyer. PR and Lons in P15. But now we see CFX23, McLaren Reserve, spinning around Cot 5, still leading this race on the wet tyre. Set at 1:59.111, so we're now into the 1 minute laps. So now we see a battle here for P8 between Bath Destroyer, Oster, and Mighty King, aka Toby. And the loser from this currently is Bath Destroyer. Will we see Bath Destroyer go deep into this corner as we've seen him do many times? He will go for another move. And he'll also make slight contact with Oster, but will not force him off this time. And so Toby, going for P8, has fallen back down as P10 from where he was in P9, and Oster has made it from P10 to P8. Despite being on the outside, and now we see a virtual safety car come up for contact. CFX23 is retired, I believe, on track. Nope, just in the pit lane, I think. I'm not too sure, so do not quote me on what's happening right now. And just current best driver in CL1, Cot 5. But Cot 5 has made a silly mistake, and he gets a drive-through penalty under the VSC. So now, in terms of penalties, only Cot 5 is the only driver to get a drive-through penalty, and Tessa has already got 3-second penalty for track limits. Cot 5 serving his drive-through penalty now, which means Big Pooh takes the lead. Smithy will attempt the overtake on Apex, makes contact with Apex into the turn 19 chicane, exit. But Apex, clearly on the dry sap, has so much straight line speed, and choosing to just hold off Smithy right now. Once again, it's all about finding the right spot for him. It's PR Oliver in P12, followed Behind by AIT Timmy, who hits the wall as we go to spectate him. Just looking for an overtake, but he can't find the right spot where he has the pace over Apex, besides now where he's draining a lot of ERS, but Apex has more ERS than him. And Apex will go defensive to the inside, meaning Smithy will break earlier to get onto the power earlier. Apex will break later, meaning Smithy will take the P5 position right now. And Apex does not get a good enough exit to make the fact that he went deeper into that corner count, but he will have a good slipstream going into a Rouge Radion. But he scrubbed too much time and going too wide, as Oster has, meaning Cop 5 getting a great slipstream from the cars in front will now be moving up into P7 as Oster falls down to P8. IIT Timmy pitting because he got wing damage. And Apex tries to go for the overtake on Smithy, doesn't make it work. Smithy, I believe, has more downforce than him, meaning Smithy will have more grip at the current times. And the way the track is, it's definitely getting ready for intermediate conditions. But we now have a 4-car battle for the P5 position. And the one guy who doesn't want to find himself in P5 right now is Cot. Got drive-through penalty under a VSC. And will make the move on Apex, meaning he only has his teammate of Smithy right in front of him. So will make it less, loss of time, as we now see Oster going around the outside that became the inside on Apex for P7. 28 seconds back. But Toby gets into an incident now, falling on P12. Stidge not having a good race weekend right now. Definitely going to be very upset by this. Lewis Inns cannot find a place to overtake Big P. As Lewis Inns spins, losing his front wing, succumbing to the pressure of the rat race, meaning that moving up into the podium positions, Tessa in the Alpine moved up to P3, and Lewis Walker, Lewis Inns' teammate in the Mercedes, moved up to P2. Dominic Nielsen has got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision in the pit lane with BAF Destroyer, meaning Oster will ghost between them, and Oster will get the position on Dominic Nielsen. Dominic Nielsen, has he acquired wing damage? No, he has not. Very lucky from him to not acquire wing damage. Someone who has acquired wing damage, lost the entire front wing and bring out a safety car, is ART Lewis Inns, also known as ART Mist. Yeah, Corbin's internet is becoming an issue, but now we see the race restart taken by Big Pooh. If you are outside of that top 6, unfortunately you have lost so much time, because Corbin's internet is not at an acceptable state. So yeah, Big Pooh stays in the lead for turn 1. Lewis Walker contains his P2 and Tessa keeps the P3. We've seen no moves in this top 6, but we will probably see many moves coming up in the P7 to P15 positions right now, but he doesn't even have the pace for it. As Tessa, going wide now through turns 10 and 11, gets overtaken by Smithy, because Cop 5, while making a few mistakes, there's a reason why he's the championship leader. He is the best driver in Tier 1 as he goes for the dive bomb down the inside of the turn 18-19 chicane. Will he come out on top of it? Tessa goes a bit deep into both corners to contain the track position, but it compromises their exit, meaning that going to turn 1, the leader will be Cop 5, but Tessa using ERS and just having better straight line speed, and will go defensive to the inside. Cot catches the turn 1 outside curb, meaning they will lose so much time on their exit that they do not get the overtake done. As we now see, yes, Oster was lining up and everything on Bastro, nearly getting overtaken by PR Oliver, the AlphaTauri driver. As Toby now loses multiple positions, one to his teammate and one to Dominic Nielsen, who showed good pace in qualifying but is not on the pace right now. No grip out there for them, and Toby will lose another position to Lance. And he spins Lance around now, so frustrated losing the positions and just trying to push himself so hard that he causes the collisions with Lance, gets himself wing damage. Lance, clearly upset, has lost his front wing. Will Lance take his frustration out, or will he be able to contain himself going into this? Lance has... They bring out a safety car, and I believe Lance is in AI mode. But yeah, now we will seemingly get away here in POR. Through turns 18 and turn 19, we see Big Pooh go. Current race leader has been leading most of this race after Cop 5 got the drive-through penalty under the first VSC. Does not get the best exit, but has such straight line speed over Lewis Walker that Lewis Walker will not be able to go for an overtake, meaning Big Pooh will contain his lead to P1. Oster will go for a triple overtake, but Apex wants to reclaim that P7. He goes so deep into the corner that he goes wide and gets onto the curb, meaning he loses the position to Oster. Oster up into P7. That, as now we see Lewis Walker goes for the overtake on Big Pooh. So, will we see a new race leader? No, we will not, but we will nearly see contact, but they do keep it clean into this chicane, known as turns 5 and 6. And going through turn 7, we do see PR Oliver and AIT Timmy keep their battle going. An AIT team is currently coming out on top, but Bath Destroyer wants to get involved into this battle. He will be trying to overtake AlphaTauri Driver over PR Oliver. Only AlphaTauri Driver left in this race after Corbin pretty much been forced into leaving because of Internet being a threat. Dominic Nielsen going around the outside of PR Oliver. They make contact. Dominic Nielsen nearly making contact with the wall. But we will now see this battle continue into turns 10 and 11. But it will be Dominic Nielsen who comes out on top. And Lance now straight on it behind PR Oliver. Makes his move over to P12. Lance aiming down points after making a collision with the driver behind PR Oliver, Toby, Mighty King, but Lance getting too late on the brakes, inviting PR Oliver back into the turns 12-13 chicane, meaning that PR Oliver reclaims his P12 from Lance, and Lance makes another mistake on the braking, which will invite Toby in, the guy who he collided with just earlier, bringing out the last safety car that we saw. Up the field we see Cop 5 going for a move on Tesla, but Cop 5 goes so deep into that corner, and he cuts the chicane. He gets an entire 10-second time penalty, and honestly, he has to give that position back to Tessa as well. But he will go straight around the outside, but catches the grass, meaning he's going to go wide again. Cott is driving in such anger right now, and it's not working out for him. He's fallen down into P5, but Lewis Inter makes contact with the wall again. Bath Destroyer gets overtaken by Dominic Nielsen. Dominic Nielsen will also try and go down the inside of Apex, doesn't make it work. Apex will block Dominic Nielsen going defensive. Dominic Nielsen nearly cutting the corner there. AIT team gets another 3-second time penalty for track limit penalty. That's the second track limit penalty. Please correct me if I did get that wrong. And Bath Destroyer will go down the inside of Dominic Nielsen again, meaning Apex will continue to hold on to P8. Bath Destroyer trying to go around the outside, not enough space left for him there. He will now try and go down the inside into turns 10-11. We will see a 3-wide moment into turns 10-11. And AIT Timmy could gain himself 3 positions here after the collision. Will we see a collision? No, we will not. But AIT Timmy is currently gaining 2 positions right now. But he's only managed to make most of 1. Apex will fall down into P11 behind Lance. AIT Timmy going to such down the inside, but will not make it work. He has to cut the entire corner there, really. Track nearly entirely off track. Nearly off track again. He is off track again, meaning Lance could easily make his way into the top 10 right now. He actually is in the top 10, but he's another mistake on the braking. So he will only make his way into P11. As Timmy made the most of that, he's up into P10. Dominic Nielsen stuck behind Bath Destroyer once again. Bath Destroyer, while showing some good defense, was also showing some bad defense, but currently is such great defense right now. But it's not enough to fend off Ferrari driver Dominic Nielsen. Bath Destroyer loses that position. AIT Timmy getting another 3-second time penalty. That brings AIT Timmy's penalties up to 9 seconds off of penalties as Lance goes down the inside, getting himself to the points for the first time this race as well. And Lewis Walker setting a fastest lap of the F1 World Car. But he's a Mercedes driver. He's leading this race from Big P by 1.1 seconds. Smithy in P3, only 8 tenths behind. As Cott, I believe, has been on a wet setup the entire time, which is why he doesn't have the great straight line pace. But he will go for the overtake on Lewis Inns, who's going for the overtake on Tessa. 3 wide into the chicane. And no contact, but a safety car being brought out due to a collision with Apex. Apex DNFing out of this race, making our second DNF up over his Radeon. The next highest, I believe, is shared between Big Pooh and Cot 5, who are both on 7. So Smithy currently has double the amount of wins as the next person, as he had that dominant Season 2 season where he won almost every race. And now we see this restart go ahead. Who will continue leading into turn 1? It is Lewis Walker, as Big Pooh is not making the most of this. Smithy is trying to make the most of this. He's using ERS. He does not have good straight line speed. I think he might be on a wet setup, which is going to disadvantage him on the straights. Could pay into his hand onto the corners. Someone who does have good straight line speed right now is his teammate Cop 5. Is Smithy using any ERS? No, he's actually letting his teammate through. Yes, he is. So he's working together with his teammate to secure the best result possible for the Red Bull team. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But yeah, in his last 5 laps, Cop 5 wants to get this overtake done as soon as he can. He's going side by side now into a corner I believe is called Stavolo. Don't quote me on that. That is Stavolo. Now turn 16, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. But Big Pooh keeps the positions into turn 17, 18, into Blanchemont. This is going to be the race deciding segment, really. Can Lewis Walker pull away while Big Pooh and Cop 5 battle? Cop 5 makes a move down the inside. We've seen him go off here again on the wet tyres. He does not go off here. He does slightly make contact with the back of Big Pooh. Big Pooh placing the car perfectly to defend his position. And Lewis Walker's fast slapping the first car for line 143, 155 on his soft tyres. Smithy in P4 has created enough of a gap to Tessa to not let them in the DRS. But obviously with the battles going on, Smithy getting loose on the medium tyre, not having as much grip as soft tyres right now. Tessa will fall back into the DRS. Smithy contending with the DRS. Osa will be in the DRS. The DRS is obviously not on right now, but it will be coming on in the coming laps. So now, But we do see ART Timmy aiming up for a move on Bath Destroyer. Tries to go around the outside, but just goes too deep. It's very easy to mess up breaking into that corner, into that chicane, and doesn't make the most of it. And he goes off again. He spins around, nearly hits the Mercedes of ART loose ends, catches it. Now he has his teammate Toby behind him. Going through Staveler, nearly loses it into that. Do I think the caught pen will get removed? I think it'll get lowered. I think he will still keep a pen there, because he really did cut that chicane. Just fully, I think it'll be either lowered to a 5-second or a 3-second. I'm not an FI either, so, you know. But yeah, Toby makes the overtake on his teammate ART Timmy, who will settle in behind him. Tries to threaten the overtake, and that has made Toby go deep into that corner. So obviously the threat's kind of working, but you don't want to do it to your teammate. Dominic Nielsen and the Ferrari making the overtake now on Tessa, but Tessa will go back down the inside into turn 1. Dominic Nielsen will keep the position. Now I believe DRS is on this lap, so we will see a few DRS passes. Cot 5 has not caught up to Lewis Walker, so that probably means another win for Mercedes this time round. Big Pooh nearly making contact with Cot 5, but does not make the contact with him. But not Tommy. Toby will be trying to make the move on his teammate ART Timmy. ART Timmy shouldn't battle this too much. Smishy now falling down to P6 behind Dominic Nielsen and Oster. Oster battling with Big Pooh now. Oster trying to make the most of this. He wants to get that podium. He's fighting for that podium. And he actually makes his way out of the podium, compromising Big Pooh's exit. Dominic Nielsen on the inside now into the turn 8 right-hander. Squeezing Big Pooh to the limits that he's allowed to. Dominic Nielsen gets squeezed off track and gets the 3-second time penalty from Big Pooh. Toby in P10. And Smithy is currently in P5. Big Pooh's soft tyre and his ERS has fallen off so much he can't make the most of it. And now he's got his teammate Tessa with 9 seconds of track limits time penalties. Not too sure how they managed to get that. Now behind them. Alpine have fallen off so much. Back to try and make the move on Lewis Inns again. Lewis Inns trying to keep it in there for turn 15, but he just can't. You can't do that there. No. Big Pooh is actually right behind Smithy right now. Smithy and Big Pooh on the same ERS, I believe. Big Pooh with a better setup for straight line speed. Tries to go around the outside for turn 18-19. He's gonna make the outside work, which will become the inside, and will actually make the overtake possible for his teammate. Smithy gets hit by his teammate Tessa. Smithy nearly falling out of the DRS because of that incident. Big Pooh's nearly out of the DRS, but the man who will most likely be crossing this line to take the race win and probably will not be getting any penalties, as I do not believe they've actually caused any crashes by making their way from a bad start getting spun. Toby and Pierre Oliver, I believe, making contact into turn 1, which actually gives Timmy the P10 back. Zan's in P10, so this P10 spot will only be fighted for. Voten? How the fuck do you say that? Between PR, Oliver and Lance. Lewis Inns goes holding on Battleshore now. DRS overtake, as you'd expect to happen. Oster behind Dominic Nielsen. Dominic Nielsen aiming for this podium in P3. And Cot 5, he can't make the rest on Lewis Walker. Lewis Walker showing a great performance here in Spa-Francorchamps. Lance still battling PR Oliver. PR Oliver gets loose and has ART Timmy right behind him. ART Timmy is not fighting for anything. He has 15 seconds for the track limits penalties. Nearly getting loose again. PR Oliver does not have a best exit either, meaning ART Timmy will secure himself P11. Tessa gets another 3-second time penalty, meaning they're on 12 seconds, and will also get overtaken by Smithy. Clearly they went off at turns 10 and 11, so Smithy's moved their way up into P6. The medium tyres unfortunately haven't worked out the way Smithy would have wanted, so it turns out the soft tyres could hang on for just about long enough, as Mighty King now up into P12, as Oliver falls down in P13. Lance has utterly secured himself. Only 1 meal point. I know it doesn't sound like too much for 1 point, but you know, you need as many points as you can as a driver. You know, most owners and team principals, when they look at the drivers for next season, they're going to look at who has the most points. As Lewis Walker has crossed the line, he wins the Belgium POR Round 9 Belgium Grand Prix, takes the P1. We now see another Mercedes win. 2 wins, maybe in a third win in Tier 2 if Mercedes won in Tier 2. But we have 2 wins for Mercedes in both Tier 3 and Tier 1. And now the race is over, so I will give you your race rundown and I will check the race director if I have the chance to. But here we see Mercedes driver Lewis Walker in the all-black Mercedes car, as we have to because of unfortunate bugs from the developers. We see a Mercedes win in Tier 1, as we saw yesterday in Tier 3. And this time, Lewis Walker managed to do it all on his own despite not having the best start. Let's see the podium celebration.